and Lifetime movies. Lifetime? Lifetime. You mean Lifetime television for women? Lifetime? Man, come on. Watching Lifetime with your girl from time to time just goes with the territory. I understand that. It's like paying a boyfriend tax or a husband tax. I get it. But still, he needs to keep that stuff to a minimum. Watching too much Lifetime can drop your testosterone level by 20 points for every hour you watch it. And that's real talk. Yeah, if your friend starts to back off on pleasing his wife and all of her friends and starts spending a little bit more time rediscovering who he is and pleasing himself too, you better believe that not everyone is going to be happy with the changes that they see happening. He won't be getting all of those pats on the back and all of those, "You're such a great guy," compliments from his wife's friends that he's probably been getting. But that's okay though, because he still needs to make that change. Yeah, his popularity might drop after he does it, but so will his testicles. An even swap is no swindle. You know what I'm saying? Again, just make sure you don't slap his ass just yet or verbally beat the hell out of him, because all that'll do is get you nowhere. He'll get offended and start avoiding you. So just keep encouraging him to come out and hang out with you and the rest of the guys like you've been doing. Put his non-wife-pleasing goals back on his mind by casually asking him about them from time to time. Hopefully that'll jog his memory. He'll remember who he is. But remember, don't even think about trying to get this guy a copy of the battle plan at this point. It's too hardcore for him. And not just for him. There are two groups of men in particular that the battle plan is not for. Men who are too proud to admit that they don't know all there is to know about dating, women, and relationships, and men who are too scared to do what it takes to make a major change in the way that they live their lives. So, it's better for you to start him off slow. Tell him about this show. Tell him where he can find it online and maybe he'll listen to it. Better yet, just start burning him copies of it and give them to him. Now, this is a stealth move on your part, because you know, like I know, that this show is like a drill missile. Yeah, you'll feel the entertainment impact of it as soon as it hits, but you'll really feel the educational shockwaves of it when you start to think back on it. Hours, days, even weeks or months later, your mission, Angelo, is to implement the plan that I just outlined. If there's any self-respect or self-esteem left in this guy, there's a strong possibility that he can save himself from himself. But regardless, don't give up on him. Just keep hitting him with the truth whenever you see an opening. You never know when something you say to him or something he hears me say on this show may hit him hard enough, not to knock him out, but to knock him awake. Okay. We got another email. This one is from Chris. He's 29. He's from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We've titled this email, "She's Got a Thing for Guys with Rings." And Chris writes, "Hello. I just found out about the Victory Unlimited show. I've got to say that I've never heard anything quite like it. Keep up the good work, soldier of love. Anyway, I'm writing you to tell you about something that's been happening a lot lately. Quite a few times over the past year, I've been meeting single, attractive women who are involved with married guys. Hey, it happens. It's whack, but it happens. And I can accept that it happens. But what really just got to me was what happened last week. I was at an upscale party that our law firm was hosting, and I met this woman who was a guest of one of the paralegals. I was with another male colleague of mine when we met. So both of us were hitting on her, which is a hell of a thing because my colleague is married. But I didn't put his business out there because I didn't know how far this married guy would take it. Maybe he was just flirting, that's what I thought. Well, it turned into somewhat of a competition between him and me. All things being equal, both of us were pretty evenly matched. We're pretty much tit for tat in most areas. Looks, money, suaveness, boldness, and sense of humor. Although I think my sense of humor is a little sharper than his. Anyway, while we were both talking with her, I noticed that I had the edge, and she was about to leave the party with me, but suddenly changed her mind after my colleague finally said out loud that he was married. But that still didn't change the fact that he thought she was the most attractive woman there. Well, for some strange reason, those must have been the magic words, because shortly after that, she told me it was nice meeting me, and then they both got up and left together. I was just sitting there, shocked as hell. Then, the woman from the paralegal department who had invited her saw them both leaving, so she came over and sat next to me. She told me don't feel bad or take it personally because her friend tends to only date married guys. I turned around and asked her why, but she didn't really give me an answer. She just shrugged her shoulders and went and rejoined the party. Yo, VU, don't you leave me hanging too. Can you tell me what makes a single girl prefer to date married guys? Okay, troops. Everybody out there got that? Chris, it looks like what you've just run into is an available woman that's got a thing for unavailable men, which makes her totally unavailable to you, a single man. This is an odd scenario, isn't it? Single, attractive women who chase married men are a single man's nightmare. And the more attracted to the girl that single man is, the more scary and the more confusing a nightmare it is. But wait a minute. Let me back this think tank up and go over a list of the main reasons why single girls go for married guys. Because there's a lot of you guys out here that need to know this. The top 4 reasons why some chicks go for guys with rings are: number 1, some women go for married guys because they didn't know that the guys were married when they first met them. In cases like this, the women are usually lied to or somehow tricked by these men into thinking that they're single. Now, when this happens, most women should get a pass. It's not really their fault. But the day they do find out that these guys are married and yet still continue to choose to hook up with them, that's the day that they get that pass revoked. Number 2, some women go for married guys because they're women of questionable ethics and moral standards who don't really want a serious relationship with anyone. They just want a man sometimes, not all the time. They usually just want a man for certain things that they can get some kind of self-gratification from. They usually date married men for money or sex. They're into married guys to take, not to give. They ain't in it for love, they're in it for convenience. Number 3, some women go for married guys because they're bum-level babes, explosively attractive women who want to see just how bum-level they really are by seducing and stealing married men from their wives. Married men are the ultimate prize to them. These women are like predators. They hunt for the fun and challenge of it. But on the real, for them, it's really just a power trip. And number 4, some women go for married guys because they're women who have such a low opinion of men that they think that they're all the same anyway. To these women, there's no difference between a married man and a single one. So because they don't really have any positive expectations for any long-term relationships with men, and because they no longer entertain any hope of ever having a man all to themselves, they don't really see any reason not to date a married man. Now, I could spend a whole show on each of these 4 reasons, but we don't have that kind of time. So, I wanted to at least just brief you men on the essentials of what you need to know. But anyway, back on target. Chris, the girl you were targeting at that party is probably a babe that belongs in category number 2. The reason I say this is because if your on-site assessment of this situation is on point and you and your married coworker really are roughly the same level of attractiveness, charm, and financial status and whatever, and she was flirting back with both of you equally as hard, and you didn't make any dumb attraction-killing mistakes while you were talking to her, and her whole focus shifted off of you and onto the other guy the moment she found out he was the married one, then you better believe that this chick is the type that compartmentalizes men so that she can use them for certain things and for certain times. 9 out of 10 times, she's a girl who's high maintenance, who's more into getting what she wants rather than giving a guy what he wants, too. Unless, of course, he happens to want something from her that she happens to be in a mood to give. And it's a convenient time for her to give it. Regardless, I know she probably was gorgeous, but you gotta suck it up, man. You gotta man up, forget all about her, and keep it moving. You gotta keep soldiering on until you find a woman who's worth your time and available for you and interested enough in you to want to spend time, the time it takes to get to know you. And one last thing, if you have any doubts about what kind of woman that was that you met at the party, remember what her own friend told you about her after she left you to go hook up with the married guy. She basically told you point blank that her friend has a habit of hooking up with married guys. So spare yourself some frustration and take heed to what she said to you. Bottom line, when a woman shows you by her actions what she's into, go ahead and believe what you see. Keep listening to this show, Chris, because it'll train you how to keep your critical eyes open. And over time, you'll learn how to use what a woman does to help you draw some conclusions instead of getting caught by surprise and thrown into confusion. Wait a minute, that just rhymed. Anyway, this is Victory Unlimited, signing off. Always outnumbered, but never outgunned. Wishing you Godspeed. And no matter how many battles you fight, may your victories be unlimited.